So we're back again with another installment of Short Stories Sunday, where I talk about the stories from the Best American Short Stories of 2017 as edited by Meg Waltzer. Stick around for my thoughts on Arcadia by Emma Cline. Hey y'all, it's Jen and welcome to my channel Ifers Inklings. Today I have the next installment of my Short Story Sunday series, which is currently going through the Best American Short Stories of 2017 as edited by Meg Waltzer. This week's story is Arcadia by Emma Cline, as published originally from Granta. I don't know what that is, or if that was even said right. This short story is about 20 pages long, and it is about Peter, Otto, and Hetty, and it is told from Peter's point of view. Now, Hetty and Otto are siblings whose mother died a long time ago, and their dad ran off, if I remember correctly. I read the first half of this story probably 4 weeks ago, and I just finished the last half of it today, a few minutes ago, so I could record this video. But Peter is Hetty's boyfriend who has gotten her pregnant, and Hetty is a young girl. She's probably about 17, finished high school, and is taking classes at the community college. Once Hetty got pregnant, Otto decided to let Peter move in with them, and he is now helping them take care of the family farm. When I first started this story, I thought it was going to go into a different direction than it did. What we see here is we see this world from Peter's point of view, he's kind of an outsider looking in, even though he is kind of on the inside now. And I don't know how to explain this story at all, because it starts off being where Peter is really jealous of Hetty and her intelligence and the fact that she's going to school and the people she meets there, and of Otto and his relationship with Hetty. And Otto seems to have his life together because he's running the family farm. But he's doing it kind of old school, and he doesn't really want to break out into the modern day. But Hetty has all these ideas on how to help improve and get their word out, like getting a website and all of that. And at one point, Peter's like, he steals her idea and tries to make her jealous. But then towards the end of the story, Peter is kind of seeing things in a different light, including Hetty. Hetty ends up struggling in school, is kind of resigned to just live there with Otto forever and raise her baby there with Otto and Peter, and not really make a life of herself. And Peter, by the end of the story, wants more. He wants to get off of this family farm and go to make his own house and home for Hetty and the baby. You know, at the beginning of this story, you see Hetty is kind of portrayed as having it all together and having a goal and having ambition. She's headed off to college. She's got her backpack on. She's got her she's got her backpack on. She's got her raincoat. Everything is great and wonderful. And then towards about halfway through the story, she comes home and she's soaking wet, and her raincoat is all moldy, and she's not doing well in school. And then at the end of the story, she started smoking again, and she's wearing her moldy raincoat, and she's not really giving much care to her appearance, and her ambition is just kind of gone away. And at the end of this story, Peter is like, I don't even know who this girl is anymore. So to me, this story really kind of shows the progression of what happens when you don't believe in yourself. how one little setback can really impact the way you think about yourself, the way you think about your future, and the way you're willing to, the amount of investment you're willing to put into that. Even when you know that what you're doing isn't good for the overall self, you know, and especially with her having the baby, that, you know, the smoking definitely isn't good, the moldy raincoat isn't good, you know, living there on that farm probably isn't the best idea and the best place to raise a baby either. She kind of gives up and she is defeated at the end of this story. And Peter's not much better. You know, he walked into this story being kind of defeated and living in his girlfriend's childhood bedroom with her brother, and wanting to make a life for himself but not really having the resources to do so. And the brother, Otto, is just a real ass, and he keeps bringing up that Peter is a failure almost, and so Peter internalizes that. But towards the end of the story, things have kind of turned around for Peter, and he's like, no man, we got to get out of here. Even though he doesn't have a lot of ideas himself, he knows that that's not the place that they need to be. And really, it's not the place he wants to be. He no longer looks up to Otto like he did at the beginning of the story. There's a lot of talk in here about Hetty and Otto's relationship too that I found really odd and disturbing. It's almost like they had more of a lover's relationship than a brother and sister relationship, but it wasn't really specifically mentioned. And I don't know if that was just because of the way it was they were raised, or had to raise themselves because of their parental units disappearing. But Peter pointed out several things that made the relationship really odd too, or, you know, that showed that their relationship was odd. There were a lot of instances in here where you could really tell that Peter was jealous of Hetty. She had goals, she wanted to improve herself, and he didn't have any of that going on himself, and he made comments that were kind of, you could really tell that there was a lot of jealousy there in the relationship. One quote about Peter that I found interesting in this story, and I thought really kind of brought home a lot of this, was, so Hetty used to keep a notebook where she wrote down all of her ideas, and then Peter had gone to the grocery store, and so this was one of the quotes afterwards. Peter bought a notebook for himself on the grocery run. He'd meant to write in it, like Hetty did, record his ideas, his thoughts about the world. He splayed it across his knees and waited with a pencil and a glass of water, but there was nothing he wanted to say. And I think that really kind of sums up Peter. He was kind of just floating on Hetty and Otto's shirt tails. Didn't really have any ideas of his own, but Otto and Hetty don't really have any ideas either. You know, they're just barely eking out an existence as it is, and things are stressful and things are hard. But Peter's not contributing in any way and doesn't have any way to contribute because he doesn't have any ideas of his own either. So that is really all I've got out of this story. It really was a strange one to me because it started out so differently than it ended. It almost felt like it was two different stories. And I just don't really know what to think about the way it ended. It just kind of ended. There was nothing to go on. It was just, they were sitting in the kitchen and Hetty went off to school and Otto said we're going to go meet some people to hire new workers, and that was it. That was how it ended, and it was just bizarre to me. Felt very much like it wasn't wrapped up in the end. So I really had high hopes for this one because I really like Emma Cline. I have read her book, The Girls, which it talks about the girls of the Charles Manson cult. That's what it was, a cult. And I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed her writing, but I did not get the same feel of this short story as I did with her novel. And then I'm really disappointed in that because I really wanted to love this short story by her. Overall, it was an interesting short story. You could see the progression of ambition and goals and how life impacted your goals and your progression in life, and your attitude towards yourself and towards your goals when you get a little bit of a setback. Especially if you don't have a strong support system. And Hetty certainly did not have a strong support system to help her kind of achieve her goals and to pick her up when she was feeling down or kind of lackluster about achieving her goals and bettering herself. So that is it. That's all I've got on this short story. If you've read it, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. Let me know what you thought of this review of it and this discussion. That's all I got, guys. I don't know. These short stories are really hard to talk about, especially when they feel so very much incomplete. Next week, we will be talking about Hog for Sorrow by Leopoldine Kaur. I have no idea what it's about. I haven't even started on it yet. So join me next week on Sunday for that review. And as always, if you've enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I do short story Sunday every Sunday. And until next time, bye.